Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatha Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishkam Vitam Cha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanachana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhistam Supurakam Gurganara Sesha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipunam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govindabhidam Ujjwalam Varatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Cha Divyad Bhagavat Prem Noe Bija Pradam Devam Divyatanum Suchandavaranam Balarka Shilanshitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyambudim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Banaram Bandetam Shubharam Mareka Sharanam Nyashishwara Shridaram Vanshakopatarubyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyavicha Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita with translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is Antya-lila, Chapter 1, Rupa Goswami's second meeting with the Lord. Verse number 93. Chaturmasya Rahi Gaudiya Vaishnava Antya-lila Rupa Goswami Mahaprabhu Charane Rohila. After the 4 months of Chaturmasya, Shravan, Bhadra, Ashvina, and Kartik, all the Vaishnavas of Bengal returned to their homes, but Srila Rupa Goswami remained in Jagannath Puri under the shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ek din Rupa Koran Nataka Likan Achambite Mahaprabhur Hoila Agaman. One day, while Rupa Goswami was writing his book, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu suddenly appeared. Sambrame duhe ute dandavat hoila, duhe alingia Prabhu asane basila. As soon as Haridas Thakur and Rupa Goswami saw the Lord coming, they both stood up and then fell down to offer him their respectful obeisances. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced them both and then sat down. So this is Rupa Goswami and Haridas Thakur. Mahaprabhu suddenly appears. They are offering dandavats to him. And then they offer him an asan. Kya putilika mole ekpatra nila akara dekiya Prabhu mane suke hoila. The Lord inquired, "What kind of book are you writing?" He held up a palm leaf that was a page of the manuscript, and when he saw the fine handwriting, his mind was very pleased. Shri Rupera Kara Jena Mukutara Pati Prita Hoya Koran Prabhu Akarera Stuti. Thus being pleased, the Lord praised the writing by saying, "The handwriting of Rupa Goswami is just like rolls of pearls." Se Patri Prabhu ek shloka jay dekila Parite shloka preme avishta hoila. When reading the manuscript, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw a verse on that page, and as soon as he read it, he was overwhelmed by ecstatic love. Tunde tandavini ratim vitanute tandavali labdaye karma kroda kadambini gatayate karnarbe Vede Vyaspriyam Cheta Prangana Sangini Vijayate Sarvendriyanam Kritim No Jane Janita Kiyadbir Amritai Krishneti Varnadvai. Tunde tandavini ratim vitanute tundavali labdaye karnakroda kanambini gatayate karnarbebhya spriyam cheta prangana sangini vijayate sarvendriyanam kritim no jane janita kiyadbir amritai krishneti varnadvai. I do not know how much nectar the two syllables Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. We then desire many, many mouths. When that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire many millions of ears. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert. Shloka Shuni Haridas Hoilu Ulasi Nachite Lagila Shlokar Arta Prashamsi. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted this verse, Haridas Thakur, upon hearing the vibration, became jubilant and began to dance while praising its meaning. Krishna Namer Mahima Shastra Sadhu Mukhe Jane Namer Madhuri Aiche kaha nahi shuni. One has to learn about the beauty and transcendental position of the holy name of the Lord by hearing the revealed scriptures from the mouths of devotees. Nowhere else can we hear of the sweetness of the Lord's holy name. Tabe Mahaprabhu duhe korea lingan, madhyana korite samudre korela gaman. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Haridas and Rupa Goswami and left for the seaside. No. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Haridas and Rupa Goswami and left for the seaside to perform his noontime duties. Aradin Mahaprabhu Deke Jagannath Sarvabhauma Ramananda Swarupa Risat Sabe mili chaliaila Shri Rupe milite Patitara guna sabare lagila kahite. On the next day, after visiting the temple of Lord Jagannath, as usual, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Ramananda Roy, and Swarup Damodar. They all went together to Srila Rupa Goswami, and on the way the Lord greatly praised his qualities. So Mahaprabhu is going with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Ramananda Roy, and Swarup Damodar to see Rupa Goswami. Dui shloka kohe prabhur hoila mahasuk, nija bhakter guna kohe hoya panchamuk. When Mahaprabhu recited the two important verses, he felt great pleasure. Thus, as if he had 5 mouths, he began to praise his devotees. The two verses referred to are those beginning with Priyo Soyam, which is verse number 79, which is Priya Soyam Krishna Sahachari Kuru Ketra Militas Tataham Sa Radha Tad Idam Uvayo Sangama Sukham Tatapi Antakelan Madhura Morali Panchamajushe Mano Me Kalindi Pulina Vipinaya Spriyayati. My dear friend, now I have met my very old and dear friend Krishna on this field of Kurukshetra. I am the same Radharani, and now we are meeting together. It is very pleasant, but I would still like to go to the bank of the Jamuna beneath the trees of the forest there. I wish to hear the vibration of his sweet flute playing the 5th note within the forest of Vrindaban. And the other verse is the verse we just read about the glories of the holy name. So those two verses. When Mahaprabhu recited the two important verses, he felt great pleasure. Thus, as if he had 5 mouths, he began to praise his devotee. Sarvabhauma Ramanande Parikka Korite Shri Rupa Guna Duhare Lagila Kohite, just to examine Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And Ramananda Roy, the Lord began to praise the transcendental qualities of Sri Rupa Goswami before them. So the idea is that Srila Govinda Maharaj calls this time when all the devotees are hearing Rupa Goswami, when these devotees, Ramananda Roy, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Swarup Damodar and Mahaprabhu are hearing Rupa Goswami's explanation. Srila Govinda Maharaj calls this the examination hall of Srila Rupa Goswami. And first Mahaprabhu is individually examining or speaking with all these devotees, these three devotees. And what he wants to accomplish is he wants to establish, he wants them to give their blessings to Srila Rupa Goswami, and the purpose is that Srila Rupa Goswami will become the leader of what is Mahaprabhu's sampradaya. So that sampradaya is distinct from the worship that's going on in the Jagannath temple. That's being directed under by the king Maharaj Prataparudra and his ministers, which include Kashi Mishra and also Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, specifically Ramananda Roy, who asked questions, and Swarup Damodar, these are intimate devotees of Mahaprabhu that he wants them to accept and establish Srila Rupa Goswami as the leader for all the devotees. Ishwara Swabhava Bhaktir Naloy Aparad Alpaseva Bahumani Atma Parjanta Prasad. Characteristically, the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not take seriously an offense committed by a pure devotee. The Lord accepts whatever small service a devotee renders as being such a great service that he is prepared to give even himself, what to speak of other benedictions. So, Brityasya Pashyati Gurun Api Naparadan Sevam Manag Api Kritam Bahuda Bhupaiti Avishkarati Pishun Neshvapi Nabhyasuyam Shilena Nirmalamati Purushottamayam Pratyasya Pashyati Gurun Api Naparadan Sevan Managapi Kritam Bahuda Bhupaiti Avishkaroti Pishuneshvapi Nabhyasuyam Shilena Nirmalamati Purushottamayam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Purushottama, the greatest of all persons, has a pure mind. He is so gentle that even if his servant is implicated in a great offense, he does not take it very seriously. Indeed, if his servant renders some small service, the Lord accepts it as being very great. Even if an envious person blasphemes the Lord never manifests anger against him. Such are his great qualities. Bhakta Sange Prabhu Vaila Deki Duijan Dandavat Hoya Koila Charana Randan. When Haridas Thakur and Rupa Goswami saw that Mahaprabhu had come with his intimate devotees, they both immediately fell down like logs and offered prayers to their lotus feet. So Rupa staying with Haridas Thakur. When Haridas Thakur and Rupa Goswami see these devotees coming, Mahaprabhu with his three intimate devotees, they both immediately fell down like logs to offer dandavats to their lotus feet. Bhakta Sange Koila Prabhu Duhare Milan Pindate Basila Prabhu Loya Bhaktagan. Thus Mahaprabhu and his personal devotees met Rupa Goswami and Haridas Thakur. The Lord then sat down in an elevated place with his devotees. Rupa Haridas duhe basila pindatale sabara agrahina utila pindara upare. Rupa Goswami and Haridas Thakur sat at the foot of the elevated place where Mahaprabhu was sitting. Although everyone asked them to sit on the same level as the Lord and his associates, they did not do so. And so one may ask, why is it mentioned that the Lord doesn't, even if there's a mistake by a devotee, the Lord doesn't take this into consideration? Well, part of the reason is the Lord is establishing, Mahaprabhu is establishing his mission through persons like Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, that were outside of the structure of the Hindu society, because they had taken employment within the Muslim government. So they never went into the Jagannath temple. He established them. Ramananda Roy, he was a government officer, but he was considered a Sudra. And in fact, in the conversation, Mahaprabhu says, Kiva vipar kiva nyasi Shudra kanino ye Krishna tadvaveta seguru hoy. It doesn't matter whether you're a Brahmana or a Shudra. If you know the science of Krishna consciousness, which you do, then say Guru Hoy, then you can be seen as a guru. So Mahaprabhu didn't establish his mission to be spread by big sannyasis and big personalities. Rather, he spread it through Rup Sanatan, who were outside of the purview of Hindu society. Then he spread it through Ramananda Roy, who was considered like a Shudra, he wasn't a Brahmin. And he also spread it through Haridas Thakur, the Namacharya, who was born in a Muslim family. So this is the way Mahaprabhu spreads his mission. He didn't spread it through persons who were in the, considered the leaders of the society, of the Hindu society. Are you going now? Okay. Purva shloka pararupa prabhu agya koila lajatena parirupa monadarila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Rupa Goswami to read the verse they had previously heard, Rupa Goswami, because of great shyness, did not read it, but instead remained silent. Swarup Gosai Tabe say shloka parila shuni sabakara chite shamatkara hoila. Then Swarup Damodar recited the verse, and when all the devotees heard it, their minds were struck with wonder. Priyasoyam Krishna Sahachari Kuruketra Militas Tatahamsa Radha Tadidam Ubayo Sangama Sukam Tatapiyanda Kelan Madhura Murali Panchama Jushe Manome Kalindi Pulina Vipinaya Spriyayati. My dear friend, now I have met my very old and dear friend Krishna on the field of Kurukshetra. I am the same Radharani, and now we are meeting together. It is very pleasant, but I would still like to go to the bank of the Jamuna, beneath the trees of the forest there. I wish to hear the vibration of his sweet flute playing the fifth note within that forest of Vrindaban. Raya Bhattacharya Bole, Tomara Prasad Bine, Tomara Ridaya Age, Hanila Kemone. After hearing this verse, Ramananda Roy and Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya said to Mahaprabhu, without your special mercy, how could this Rupa Goswami have understood your mind? Amate Sanchare Purve Kohila Siddhanta, Chesab Siddhante Brahma Nahipai Anta. Srila Rupa Goswami said that previously Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had empowered his heart so that he could express elevated. Srila Ramananda Roy said that previously Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had empowered his heart so that he could express elevated and conclusive statements to which even Lord Brahma has no access. Tate jane purve tomar, payache prasad, tahabina nahi tomar, Hridayanuvad. Had you not previously bestowed your mercy on him, they said, it would not have been possible for him to express your internal feelings. Prabhu kohe kaha rupa natakara shlok, jai shloka shunile loker jai dukkha shok. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my dear Rupa, please recite that verse from your drama, which upon being heard makes all people's unhappiness and lamentation go away. Bar bar Prabhu jadi tare Antya-lila tabise shloka rupa gosai kohila. When the Lord persisted in asking this again and again, Rupa Goswami recited that verse as follows. Tunde tanda viniratim vitanute tandavali labdaye karna kroda kadambini gatayate karnar bedebhya spriyam cheta prangana sangini vijayate sarvendriyanam kritim no jane janita kiyadbir amritai krishneti varnadvayi. I do not know how much nectar the two syllables Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. We then desire many, many mouths. When that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire many millions of ears. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert. Jata Bhakta Brindara Ramananda Roy Shloka Shuni Sabar Hoila Ananda Vishmoy. When all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, especially Sri Ramananda Roy, heard this verse, they were all filled with transcendental bliss and were struck with wonder. Sabe Bole Nama Mahima Shuniyache Apar Emona Madhurya Keho Nahi Barnear. Everyone admitted that although they heard many statements glorifying the holy name of the Lord, they had never heard such sweet descriptions as those of Rupa Goswami. Rayako Hekon Granta Karak Hinojani Jahara Bitare E Siddhantarakani. Ramananda Roy inquired, what kind of drama are you writing? We can understand that it is a mine of conclusive statements. Sarup ko he Krishna lila nataka korite Braja lila pura lila ekatra barnite. Swarup Damodar replied for Srila Rupa Goswami. He wanted to compose a drama about the pastimes of Lord Krishna. He planned to describe in one book both the pastimes of Vrindaban and those of Dwarka and Mathura. Arambi Yachila Ek Prabhu Agyabaya Duinata Kori Teche Vibhaga Korea. He began it in that way, but now following the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has divided it in two and is writing two plays. One concerning the pastimes of Mathura and Dwarka, and the other concerning the pastimes of Vrindaban. Vidagda Madhavara Lalita Madhava Duinata Ke Prema Rasa Arabhuta Sabha. The two plays are called Vidagda Madhava and Lalita Madhava. Both of them wonderfully describe ecstatic emotional love of God. Raya Kohe Nandi Shloka Para Deki Shuni Shri Rupa Shloka Pade Prabhu Agyamani. Ramananda Roy said, please recite the introductory verse of the Vidagda Madhava so that I can hear and examine it. Thus Rupa Goswami, being ordered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, recited the verse. So here are the questions about the two works, Vidagda Madhava and Lalita Madhava. All the examination has been conducted by Sri Ramananda Roy. He himself has written natak, drama with dancing, as Rupa Goswami is doing, and he is very qualified to ask questions about the dramas that Rupa Goswami is writing, the books. They're nataks. They're presented, their conclusive minds of, their minds of the conclusions of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and at the same time they're presented as dramas with dancing. That's a natak. Sudanam Chandrinam Api Madhuri Monmada Damani Sadhana Radhadi Pranaya Gana Sarai Surabitam Samantat Santa Podgama Vishama Samsara Sarane Pranitam Te Trishnam Haratu Harilila Shikarini. May the pastimes of Sri Krishna reduce the miseries existing in the material world and nullify all unwanted desires. The pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are like shikarini, a blend of yogurt and sugar candy. They overpower the pride of even the nectar produced on the moon, for they distribute the sweet fragrance of the concentrated loving affairs of Srimati Radharani and the gopis. Raya kohe kaha ishta devara varnan prabhura sankoche rupa nakore patan. Ramananda Roy said, "Now please recite the description of the glories of your worshipful deity." Rupa Goswami, however, hesitated due to embarrassment because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was present. So Ramananda Roy is speaking, asking questions concerning Vidagdha Madhava. He says, who is the Ishta Deva? Who is the deity? Who is the person to whom your drama is being presented? But Rupa Goswami is hesitant to answer because Mahaprabhu is present, and Rupa Goswami is offering the Vidagdha Madhava to Mahaprabhu, and he knows that Mahaprabhu will give some out of his deep humility, and that Mahaprabhu will make some comment. Prabhu kohe kaha kene kon sankocha laje grandera fala shunaiba Vaishnava samaje. The Lord, however, encouraged Rupa Goswami, saying, "Why are you embarrassed? You should recite it so the devotees can hear the good fruit of your writing." So Rupa Goswami is hesitant to say to glorify the Ishtadeva or recite that verse from the drama which glorifies the Ishtadeva, because it's Mahaprabhu, and he knows Mahaprabhu is going to say something out of his humility. Tabe Rupa Gosai Jadi Shloka Padila Shuni Prabhu Kohe E Ati Stuti Haila. When Rupa Goswami thus recited his verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disapproved of it because it described his personal glories. He expressed the opinion that it was an exaggerated explanation. Anarpita charim chirat karuna yavatirna kalo samarpayitum unnato jwala rasam swabhakti shriyam haripurata sundara duti kadamba sandipita Sadaridaya Khandare Swaratu Vachisa Vasachinandana. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost core of your heart, resplendent with the radiance of molten gold. He is descended in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. Sabhabhakta Gana Kohe Shloka Shunya Kritartha Kodila Sabai Shloka Shunaya. All the devotees present so greatly appreciated this verse that they expressed their gratitude to Sri Rupa Goswami for his transcendental recitation. Raya kohe kona muke patra sanidan rupa kohe kala samye pravartakanam. Ramananda Roy, how have you inquired, how have you introduced the assembly of the players? Rupa Goswami replied, the players assemble at a suitable time under the heading of a pravartika. Now, in a natak, in the drama, the players come on the stage. So Ramananda Roy says, how have you introduced the different persons who play in the players of this drama? Rupa Goswami replied, the players assemble at a suitable time under the heading of a pravartika. Akshipta kala samyena pravisha shat pravartika. When the entrance of the actors is set in motion by the arrival of a suitable time, the entrance is called pravartika. So yam vasanta samaya samiyaya yasmin purnam tam ishvaram yupoda navanuragam gudagraha ruchiraya saharadaya so rangayas sangamayita nishi purnamashi. So yam vasanta samaya samiyayam yasmin purnam tam ishvaram upoda navanuragam gudagraha ruchiraya saharadaya so rangaya sangamayita nishi purnamasi. Springtime had arrived at a suitable time. The springtime had arrived, and the full moon of that season inspired the Supreme Lord Krishna, who is complete in everything, with new attraction to meet the beautiful Srimati Radharani at night to increase the beauty of their pastime. So the time, springtime, it's nighttime, it's a good time for their Radha Krishna pastime. Springtime had arrived, and the full moon of that season inspired Krishna, who is complete in everything, with new attraction to meet the beautiful Srimati Radharani at night to increase the beauty of their pastimes. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur interprets this verse, Vidagdha Madhava 110, in two ways, for Krishna and for Srimati Radharani. When interpreted for Krishna, the night is understood to have been a dark moon night. And when interpreted for Srimati Radharani, it is considered to have been a full moon night. Raya kohe prarochanadi kahad dekishuni rupa kohe Mahaprabhu shravane chajani. Ramananda Roy said, please recite the prarochana portions so that I may hear and examine it. Please recite the prarochana portion so that I may hear and examine it. Sri Rupa replied, I think that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire to hear is prarochana. Rupa kohe Mahaprabhu shravane chajani. Raya kohe prarochanade kaha dekishuni. Rupa kohe Mahaprabhu shravane chajani. Ramananda Roy said, please recite the prarochana portion so that I may hear and examine it. Sri Rupa Goswami replied, I think that Mahaprabhu's desire to hear is prarochana. The method of inducing the audience to become more and more eager to hear by praising the time and place, the hero and the audience, is called prarochana. This is the statement regarding prarochana in the Nataka Chandrika. Deshakala kata bastu sabhyadinam prasamshaya shrotrinam unmuke kara katiteyam prarochana. Similarly, the Sahitya Darpana says, Tushya prarochana viti tata rahamsana mukhe angan yatron mukhi kara prasamshata prarochana. Any literature presented in Sanskrit must follow the rules and regulations mentioned in the authoritative reference books. The technical inquiries by Srila Ramananda Roy and the replies of Srila Rupa Goswami indicate that both of them were expert and fully conversant with the techniques of writing drama. So Ramananda Roy and Srila Rupa Goswami, both of them are expert with the techniques of writing drama. So this is drama. It's their plays being prepared with all the conclusions of Gaudiya Vaishnavism present. Vidagdha Madhava and Lalita Madhava. Bhaktanam Uragad Anargala Diyam Vargo Nisargo Jwala Shilai Balavita Sa Balava Badu Bando Prabando Pi Aso Lebe Chat Varatam Chatandava Vider Brinda Tavi Garbabur Manye Madvida Punya Mandala Paripakoyam Unmilati. The devotees now present are constantly thinking of the Supreme Lord and are therefore highly advanced. This work, named Vidagdha Madhava, depicts the characteristic pastimes of Lord Krishna with decorations of poetic ornaments, and the inner grounds of the forest of Vrindaban provide a suitable place for the dancing of Krishna and the gopis. Therefore, I think that the pious activities of persons like us who have tried to advance in devotional service have now attained maturity. Abhivyakta mata prakriti lagu rupa apibura Vidatri Siddhartan Hariguna Mayi Va Kritirniyam Pulinde Napi Agnikim U Samidam Unmatya Janito Hiranya Shreninam Apaharati Nanda Kalushatam. O learned devotees, I am by nature ignorant and low. Yet even though it is from me that the Vidagdha Madhava has come, it is filled with descriptions of the transcendental attributes of the Supreme Personality of God. And therefore, will not such a literature bring about the attainment of the highest goal of life? Although its wood may be ignited by a low-class man, fire can nevertheless purify gold. Similarly, although I am very low by nature, this book may help cleanse the dirt from within the hearts of the golden devotees. Raya kohe kahadeki premont patikaran purvarag vikara chesta kamalikan. Then Ramananda Roy inquired from Rupa Goswami about the causes of the loving affairs between Krishna and the gopis, such as previous attachment, purva rag, transformations of love, vikara, endeavors for love, and exchanges of letters, disclosing the gopis' awakening love for Krishna. Purva rag, vikara, cheshta, kamalikan. Krame Shri Rupa Gosai, Sakali Kohila, Shuni Prabhur, Bhaktaganer, Chamatkara Hoila. Srila Rupa Goswami gradually informed Ramananda Roy about everything he asked. Hearing his explanations, all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were struck with wonder. Then Ramananda Roy inquired from Rupa Goswami about the causes of loving affairs between Krishna and the gopis, such as previous attachment, transformations of love, endeavors for love, and exchanges of letters disclosing the gopis' awakening love for Krishna. Srila Rupa Goswami gradually informed Ramananda Roy about everything he asked. Hearing his explanations, all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were struck with wonder. Ikasya shrutam eva lumpati matim krishneti namaksharam Sandronmara Paramparam Upanayati Anyasya Vamshikala Esha Snigdha Gana Dutir Manasi Me Lagnapate Vikshanat Kashtam Dik Purusha Traye Ratir Abut Manye Mriti Shreyasi. Experiencing previous attachment to Krishna, Purva Rag, Srimati Radharani thought, since I have heard the name of a person called Krishna, I have practically lost my good sense. Then there is another person who plays his flute in such a way that after I hear the vibration, intense madness arises in my heart. And again, there is still another person to whom my mind becomes attached when I see his beautiful lightning-like effulgence in his picture. Therefore, I think that I am greatly condemned, for I have become simultaneously attached to three persons. It would be better for me to die because of this. Iyam Saki Su Dusadya Rara Ridaya Vedana Krita Yatra Chikitsapi Kutusayam Paryavasyati. My dear friend, these palpitations of Srimati Radharani's heart are extremely difficult to cure. Even if one applied some medicinal treatment, it would only end in defamation. It would only end in failure. Darya Parichandagunam Sundara Mahamandire Tumam Vasasi Taha Taha Rundasi Boliam Jaha Jaha Chaida Palani Palaimi. Oh dearly beautiful one, the artistic loveliness of your picture is now impressed within my mind. Since you are now living within my mind, wherever I wish to run, because I am agitated by impressions of you, I find that you, O friend, are blocking my way. O dearly beautiful one, the artistic loveliness of your picture is now impressed within my mind. Since you are now living within my mind, wherever I wish to run, because I am agitated by impressions of you, I find that you, O my friend, are blocking my way. Agre Viksha Shikanda Kandamachirad Utkampam Alambate Gunjanam Sha Vilokanan Mohur Aso Sasram Parikroshati No Jani Janayan Apurva Natana Krida Shamatkaritam Malaya Kilachita Bhumin Avishat Koyam Navina Graha. Upon seeing peacock feathers in front of her, this girl suddenly begins trembling. When she sometimes sees a necklace of gunja, which is of gunja mala, they're appear to be red and white, appear like beans or maybe seeds. When she sometimes sees a necklace of gunja, she sheds tears and cries loudly. I do not know what kind of new ecstatic influence has entered the heart of this poor girl. It has imbued her with the dancing attitude of a player, creating wonderful, unprecedented dances on a stage. Akarunya Krishno Yadimayi Tavaga Katamidam Mudha Ma Rodir Me Kuruparam Imam Uttara Kritim Tamalasya Skande Vinihita Bujaj Valarir Iyam Yata Vrindaranye Chiram avichala tishtati tanu. Srimati Radharani said to her constant companion Vishaka, "My dear friend, if Krishna is unkind to me, there will be no need for you to cry, for it will not be due to any fault of yours. I shall then have to die. But afterwards, please do one thing for me to observe my funeral ceremony. Place my body with its arms embracing a tamal tree like creepers, so that I may remain forever in Vrindaban undisturbed. This is my last request." The tamal tree is like characteristic of Krishna, bluish in color. Srimati Radharani said to her constant companion Vishaka, "My dear friend, if Krishna is unkind to me, there will be no need for you to cry, for it will not be due to any fault of yours. I shall then have to die, but afterwards please do one thing for me, to observe my funeral ceremony. Place my body with its arms embracing a tamal tree like creepers, so that I may remain forever in Vrindaban undisturbed. This is my last request. Raya kohe kahadeki bhavera swabhav, rupa kohe aiche hoy, Krishna vishayakabhav." Ramananda Roy replied. Ramananda Roy inquired, "What are the characteristics of emotional love?" Rupa Goswami replied, "This is the nature of emotional love for Krishna. Krishna Vishayaka Bhava. Pida Bir Nava Kalakuta Katuta Garvasya Nirvasano Nishandenam Mudam Sudha Madurima Hankara Sankochana Prema Sundari Nanda Nandana Paro Shagarti Yashantare Gayante Svutamasya Vakra Madhuras Tinaiva Vikrantaya. My dear beautiful friend, if one develops love of Godhead, love of Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, all the bitter and sweet influences of this love will manifest in one's heart. Such love of Godhead acts in two ways. The poisonous effects of love of Godhead defeat the severe and fresh poison of the serpent. Yet there is simultaneously transcendental bliss, which pours down and defeats the poisonous effects of a snake, as well as the happiness derived from pouring nectar on one's head. It is perceived as doubly effective, simultaneously poisonous and nectarian. So one effect of the separation is like the poison of a snake, but at the same time is pouring nectar upon one's head, which defeats the poisonous effect of a snake, as well as giving one the happiness derived from pouring that nectar on one's head. It is perceived as doubly effective. Love of Krishna is both simultaneously poisonous and nectarian. Nectar gives one life. Raya koe kaha sahaja primara lakan rupa gosai kahe sahajika prima dharma. Ramananda Roy further inquired, what are the natural characteristics of awakening love of Godhead? Rupa Goswami replied, these are the natural characteristics of love of God. Strotram yatra tata statam prakatayat chitasya dati vyatam nindapi pramadam prayachati parihasa shriyam bibrati doshena chaitam gunena gurutam kenapi anatanvati premna svarasikasya kasyachid iyam vikridati prakriya. When one hears praise from one's beloved, one outwardly remains neutral but feels pain within his heart. When one hears his beloved making accusations against him, he takes them to be jokes and enjoys pleasure. When he finds fault in his beloved, they do not diminish his love, nor do the beloved's good qualities increase his spontaneous affection. Thus, spontaneous love continues under all circumstances. That is how spontaneous love of God, it acts within the heart. Well, I've heard Srila Govinda Maharaj explain something of this verse, and he gives more the idea that that one is situated in such a way with overwhelming love that even if one hears criticism of one's beloved, that will not affect one's love at all. And if one hears praise of one's beloved, one is thinking that one's beloved is much more and much greater than even that praise. So one is, but here I'll read its translation again. When one hears praise from one's beloved, one outwardly remains neutral but feels pain within one's heart. When one hears one's beloved making accusations about him, one takes them to be jokes and enjoys pleasure. When one finds faults in one's beloved, they do not diminish one's love, nor do the beloved's good qualities increase his spontaneous affection, because he thinks they are much greater than that. Thus, spontaneous love continues under all circumstances. That is how spontaneous love of God, it acts within the heart. So I'm going to stop at this point. We'll sing Hari Haraya. Tomorrow we'll continue. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Garadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jawate Vignana Shabhishta Puran H.I. Gosai Jar Mui Taradas Tasavar Pada Renu Mora Panchagras Kadir Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivas Janame Janame More Abhilas H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Goilavas Radha Krishna Antya-lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindaban Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Manjayaman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamuras Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajaka Charyasta Tara Sadhashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Nirmahacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajaka Charyasta Tara Sadhashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajaka Charyasta Tara Sadhashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakshidhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupa Nuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premzigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Vrindaban Das Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagwat Ki Jai. Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Vishvavaranya Srila Jai Om Vishnupad Vishvavaranya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Shri Ram Mayapur Ki Jai, Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Saparshada Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, Shri Kuladvip Ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai, Sokel Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Sevashram Ki Jai, Ganga Devi Ki Jai, Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shri Vrindaban Dham Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna, Go Gopi Govardhan, Shyam Kuna Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Ju Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, all the assembled devotees Ki Jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.